Simo, what do you do with Shannon Hearn out? Do you bring in another defender or do you mix it up again like you've been doing?
Yeah, it's been a revolving door down back at the moment this year. So, well, we've got to find a way. We're still working through that at the moment, actually. So I haven't finalised the team yet on how we go about it. But, yeah, there's a couple of injuries there. And but that's footy. But we've got to find a way to manage that and still get on the front foot with it all.
Hearn, and is there another one that's in doubt?
Oh, there'll be a couple of changes. Yeah. We just had a bit of a session this morning, tested a couple of guys, so I won't reveal them yet. But there'll be some changes to the side. But that's not unusual either.
And you in terms of experience that's out of the side, are you at a tipping point at all? Are you far younger than you like to be?
Oh no, I think we've been strategically doing that, trying to get the best out of both worlds with that. We're missing some good players. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But we're also getting opportunity to guys as well. So, and we fell short last week, but I thought we played a pretty strong brand of football. But getting the likes of Kennedy back and LaCroix and Hearn and those types, they're our leaders. But it's just good opportunity. The team looks still pretty strong without the minute, so that's a positive.
The fact you are playing, I guess, more kids this season, where do you think that leaves you? And you've lost a few games over the last month. Do you still see yourself as in premiership contention, or not on the basis of your squad?
Yeah, I've said this a few times. We're exactly like 8 or 9 other sides. We're fighting for top 8, and the Bulldogs proved anything's possible last year. So, yeah, I'm not going to dismiss anything with where we're at. We need to win more games of footy than we have in the last month, but we don't think we're too far off with how we're playing. Massive challenge for us this week, playing the Premiers on their home deck. It's just a great challenge. So we still think the season's well and truly alive. We're still in the top 8.
Have you made a call on Lycett yet? Does he play this week, or is Vardy sticking in?
Yeah, he's another one we've got to think about today. Yeah, there's some things we do with our backline. What do we do with McGovern and Yo and these guys who have played a lot down back and played really good football? We've used them up the ground. Do we bring them back and bring Scott in? So we're working through that at the moment, but he's definitely in the mix. He's ready to play football, whether it's full-time in the ruck or as a forward. That's what we've got to work through.
Is it possible to play Vardy, Lycett, Petrie in the same team against the Bulldogs who...
Yeah. That's always the question you ask when you're playing a team like the Bulldogs is, do you try and expose your height or is it going to expose you? So Drew's playing Josh Kennedy's role at the moment, so I think you can actually handle that with what we're doing. When JK comes back, there's probably an issue on the horizon, but at the moment we think we can handle all three.
What does Lycett offer as a forward?
Well, he's played forward before. He's always, he's been second ruck behind Nick, so he's. It's important when you do play 2 rucks that they know how to play up forward, and he definitely does that. He's got speed and he puts good pressure on and knows how to take a grab. So, but he's definitely on the way, on the comeback trail. So he's not fully ready to go and up and about. He's played 3 games, I think, on limited minutes. So once we get him back in, I'd like to try and keep him in. So I don't want to rush him back to the point where it's just not going to stack up for him. So just getting that balance right, and whether it's this week or next week, it's not too far away.
How have you viewed how Wellingham and Butler have gone at waffle level since being gone?
Yeah, look, they've been pretty consistent, with their form. Yeah, it's something we've worked through with giving opportunity to Tom Cole, and even Liam Duggan's playing down back as well. But it doesn't mean it's not going to change. So they've held up their end of the bargain. They've performed pretty well.
Partington seems like he's been pretty close for a while now. Is he in debut this week?
Yeah, well, we've got to look through that. That's what we're going through the next 10 minutes. So, he's very close. He'll definitely be in the squad. He'll be coming over. Whether he plays or not's yet to be determined, but he's done a lot right. I think he had 28 touches and kicked 4 on the weekend, and a couple of weeks ago had similar numbers. So he's ready.
Have you changed his role from the start of the season? It seemed like he was racking up huge numbers, but it seems like he's hitting the scoreboard a bit more in the last few weeks.
A little bit, yeah. Those guys. The role and the method we played at East Perth changed as the year's gone. So he's adapted really well to that, and yeah, he's a second-year player. So just the evolution of those kids when they come through in the second pre-season, a bit more comfortable playing seniors, and he played games in reserve level last year, and so for him to come as far as he had, similar to a couple of other kids with their development. So he's not too far away.
If he does play, can you just give us a bit on what he's like as a player, just fans?
Yeah, look, he's a he's probably a mid forward, I suppose. He knows how to kick a goal. He's not a big fella, but he's got that one trait that's very hard to teach, and that's just natural ball winning ability. And he just seems to find the ball, which it's a really good trait to have. So his numbers have always been pretty high. Been working on his ball use and running patterns and how we want him to defend, but he's played to his strengths most weeks.
Adam, you talk about playing your best football. I know you've had personnel sort of challenges. What else are you toying with, or what do you sort of focus on during the week to try and find that best football?
Yeah, at the moment it's the balance with our belief. We've got to keep working and making sure we're in a positive frame of mind. You know, we haven't had victories in some close games against quality sides, and they've been at home as well. So we understand the expectations behind that. But you know, I think the form in Melbourne's been really disappointing in recent times, and that's the first thing we want to rectify. And win, lose or draw, really want to have a solid effort with how we go about it mentally, and also how we go about it combating the premiers.
The intent and pressure spoken about a lot. Hill and Company last week, I think sort of 5 tackles and 2 tackles out of good. Is that what you're looking for from the forward group? I know it's a whole team thing as well, but are you looking for that forward pressure in those smalls? Yeah,
look, the last 2 weeks, and the reason why I've been a bit more buoyant is the fact that our numbers, when you look at those stats, just pressure acts and tackles in your front half, forward 50 tackles in general, stoppages in your half, time in possession, all those things have elevated, and they're normally pretty good success indicators. So we didn't handle that last 10 minutes very well last week, and we probably thought we'd done enough in terms of scoring. You just got to keep scoring in these days. You can't put too many numbers behind the play or try and save the game. You've got to win it. So we're continuing learning that. But yeah, the numbers from the back half of the last 2 games have been pretty good. So if we can keep delivering those, we think we're on the right path.
How frustrating is that? You sound like you're so close to finding that right mix.
Oh, I think every team's gone through phases where they've lost close games and they analyse and look at incidences why. You know, I thought the game against Gold Coast, it was a close game. We gave up a lead with 5 or 6 minutes to go, but the way we played was pretty poor. And so that's the first thing we're trying to rectify, but we're here to win. So whatever it takes to win, we'll do. And hopefully we're going to get some more of those in the back half of the year. But it's a bloody tough comp, and you've got to take your chances. And unfortunately, we haven't done it a couple of times this year.
Is there any update on Kennedy Lacroix, or is it still next week?
Well, you've got some pretty big numbers coming back next week with hopefully Kennedy and Lacroix and Hearn. And Nelson will be available, and there'll be a couple of players who won't play this week who will be available next week as well. So they're all on track for a next week return.
Adam, there's been plenty of people willing to give you tips about how you should prepare for playing in Melbourne.
Yep.
Some of them jokes, some of them not, I guess. You seem to indicate you think it's purely mental though about getting up for these races?
It's always a little bit of both. You know, trying to find a bit more of a consistent level of performance wherever you play is our challenge at the moment. I think the criticism's justified with our last few performances in Melbourne in particular. So we're always looking on how to prepare a little bit differently, but I sort of dismiss that a tiny bit. You know, it's how you prepare mentally is really important, and what kind of method you want to play at is the main part. But we're always looking at tweaks and how we can manage, you know, when we do the captain's run in Melbourne, what kind of diet, what kind of food you eat, what do you do in your downtime, all those things you look at, but they're periphery sort of stuff. It's about how you front up on the day.
The assessment on the Bulldogs seems to be that they're not in terrific form. How have you viewed that training?
Oh, yeah, I don't necessarily see it that way. They'd say the same about us, I would have thought, but no, they're playing on their home deck. They haven't lost too many at home, and they're the premiers for a reason. So we're not taking this game lightly at all.
And they seemed to get a bit tall last week playing Broadbrack, Tommy Campbell, playing Redpath and Roughhead as well. Do you expect them to stay a bit tall?
Yeah, you look at their side and they're still probably not overly tall. So it's probably, I'm sure they've probably played a little bit smaller in the past, but they're still pretty quick, elusive side that, you know, playing a taller side against them can be an asset or can be a real hindrance. So yeah, we've got to find that balance right, because they're not overly tall even with those guys in the side.
Without giving away all your secrets, how do you slow down their speed? How do you combat
Well, that's a collective. It's not their only strength. So they had 21 marks inside 50 last week. So obviously there's a little tweak there, here and there that they've experimented with and worked. So yeah, we're looking at everything. We played them, I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks ago. So it's not too distant to the last time we played. So we'll reflect on that, albeit it was here and ground size a bit different, and it's a home game versus away. But yeah, their basic style and their DNA hasn't changed.
Is there a match-up for Tommy Barras in the Doggies forward line this week?
Oh, we'll find one. Yep.
Back him in?
We'll back him in.
Yep. Sam Mitchell, have you come close to sitting down with him about next year yet?
Yeah, well, those discussions are ongoing. We need to find out where he's at mentally and physically, and what we want as well as a club. So that'll be a mutual arrangement, and how we look at that. He's still playing pretty good football, so his form hasn't been the issue. It's just more whether he's willing to go on again, and whether we need that as a list management issue as well. So we'll get to that together, and a lot of it will be how he's feeling, and some about how we are. So that's yet to be done at the moment.
At the end of the season, potentially after you finish playing?
For you guys probably, but for us, probably not.